911. What are you reporting? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Ma'am? Can you hear me?
This is Takahiro, and this is his apartment. Inside, he has a secret that nobody knew. He was a serial killer. He had 8 bodies inside of his apartment, and he would box them up and he would keep them in his apartment. Honestly, the people who he had in his apartment, of course, families was searching, families was tweeting out, families was doing everything in their power just to see what happened to their daughters or son. They couldn't find no answers. The police couldn't even find no answers. It's almost like the police wanted to give up, but they didn't. Now, looking at Takahiro, I said this in one of my previous videos, but it's always in the eyes. You can tell somebody ain't right looking in their eyes. And for me, I see it in him by looking at them eyes. Something's just not right with him. And because I know, and because you know the secret that he had, looking at him, it almost looked like he's soulless, like he don't feel a thing. Now, this is one of them scary cases. Maybe you shouldn't watch it alone. If you do watch it alone, just know I warned you. It's going to get very dark. It's going to get very scary. And with that being said, GGYS. Now look, I'm gonna make this GGYS fast, short, and simple because I want to dedicate this one to one person. How you doing? Welcome to the channel. This person is brand new. Welcome this person to the channel. Rude. They're rude. They don't even want to welcome you. Whatever. Shout out to Koreax Kenshin. And y'all, packing my clothes. I'm getting ready to go to Europe. Y'all still not sending me no cases. Why you not sending me no cases? If you're European, if you're American, I ain't gonna even blame you. But I know most of my viewers is from America, so I'm not even gonna be mad at y'all. My bad. I take that back. But y'all already know what I'm about to go. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. GGYS. Go get your snacks. It's a scary one today.
I just started off in your world.
Now, you know when someone says, if they're a serial killer, maybe it's because of their past, them growing up. What happened to them in their childhood? Anything traumaful? Any weird, odd mental behavior? Well, in elementary, he was actually a normal kid. Never missing a day at school. He would smile. He would talk to you. You know, his soul was there. He was a happy person. And everyone, all of the kids that knew him, liked him. Middle school, everything went well, didn't have any trouble, didn't really have no fights. People that interacted with him would see him smile. High school, same exact thing. He got himself into some sports, and the people that interact with him, seen him smile, be happy with people. A lot of people didn't see nothing wrong with him. So it's like, what triggered him? What happened? Because when you go to a high school, especially the high school I went to, it was over 3,000 people in my class. We had 9 buildings, plenty of people. And out of all of these people that is in my high school, somebody probably ain't right in the head. And trust me, a lot of them wasn't. Because there was people that was caught with weapons. People had early signs of something may be wrong with them. We have to expel this person out of school and make this person go to another school away from everyone because they're a danger to the society. But it wasn't like that for Takahiro. All of his friends was like, what? He murdered who? He murdered them? What? The reason why they couldn't believe it is because you gotta understand, when someone is smiling in your face, when someone is talking to you very normally, when you have a good time with someone and everything seems fine, it really throws you off. I don't know if y'all remember, but it was this elderly man. And this man,
he told me to not scream or he would kill me.
You know, he may look like a creep to some of you, but to others, he was very friendly, like extremely friendly.
Murdered over a dozen people. He's this country's worst serial predator.
He would even go fishing with a lot of his bros. His bros didn't know a thing because he was smiling. He was having a good time with his friends.
The Joe I knew, he wouldn't do those things. No, that's not the guy I know.
All along, he murdering and murdering and murdering. And it was only until he got caught, his friends knew. If he would have never got caught, his friends would have never knew a thing. And that's what's so crazy, so scary about some of these people.
He was so good at putting on different masks that people wanted to see.
You've got these killers living amongst us that have done these horrific things, and they just go back to living their lives.
But here's the thing. The truth is, the friends is not really looking deep into him like that. Of course there were signs. You know, it's not the obvious in your face signs, but there were signs. But the friends just didn't see him. The family just didn't see him. Everyone around him just didn't see them. They looked right past them. So nobody suspected a thing until it was too late. Here's the thing. There are signs in the early stages that someone can become a serial killer. They do certain patterns. Some of them you can't see. Like, for an example, having a secret collection of dark materials, like diaries. And inside that diary, you write down a dark thing that you into, which also comes with some of the times movie films. If it's very, very dark and gruesome and this person like to watch this film over and over again, maybe run. Deep resentment. What I mean by this is, remember I was talking about that diary? Well, a hit in early stages, they can hold grudges. We all heard of someone just holding it in, and they may be holding it in for years. They may be nice, and then they just can't anymore. They let it out. Some people let it out in the most craziest way, murdering people. But a lot of the times when these serial killers be having these grudges, they maybe write it down in the journal. Everything's digital now, notes in the phone. Now this one kind of scared me a bit when I did research about this, because this one is about people who react like with almost no emotion. You watch something and everybody is maybe crying or feels sad, and you see this person that feels no empathy at all. It's almost like they don't feel no emotion.
The moments many feared would be their last.
Now that is not the point I was talking about. The point that I was talking about is when I read a disaster happened. Some tragic event happened and this person just stays completely calm, like eerily calm. They say that these are traits as well of early signs of a serial killer. And I've been through some crazy tragic things. You know, we had the Hurricane Katrina. I was eerily calm through this. We had things like house break-ins. I had a crazy house break-in story. I talked about that years ago, but I was calm. It was a lot of tragic events that I've been through that I was just calm. I always see myself as a calm person. I'm assuming it can't be everyone, because I felt offended. I do have empathy though. If I see a puppy, if something happens to a puppy in front of my eyes, it's gonna ruin my whole day. So y'all don't worry, I am not fucked up in the head, but y'all can tell anyways, because I always want y'all to stay safe, stay calm. I'm very protective. But the next one, it says an obsessive fantasy life. For an example, Jeffrey Dahmer, before he became what he became, he had fantasies of controlling people like zombies. He really wanted people to be in his power. He wanted to control everyone. But nobody knew this secret. They only knew this secret until it was too late. And we got one more slight little thing that just go unnoticed. You see this person laugh at people pain a lot. And when I say pain, I mean physically. Sometimes emotionally too. But they do this often and often. And they also watch violent things often and often. But these are things that can just completely go unnoticed, is because you don't really be inside of this person's life like that to really know everything that they're doing. So it all goes unnoticed. Oh, this pizza look good. In the middle of the video, it's one of them healthy pizzas though. Some of you might think it's nasty. It's cool. Back to Takahiro though. What you need to know is that some friends did notice some things about him. For an example, they did know that he was a little bit off, only because it seemed like he was just emotionless. Like he was just way too laid back. It was just like he didn't have a soul, but he wasn't creepy. He didn't do anything out of the ordinary. He just was robot. So it was very off for a lot of people that knew him. Now, when everybody knew about the murders, of course they wanted to ask his girlfriend. He only had one girlfriend after high school. And we're going to deep dive into the murders, and this is when it's going to get scary when we do. But when they questioned the girlfriend, she said, well, you know, honestly, when I was dating him, he was sweet, like real sweet. If you ask me, is he a violent person, I would say no. He's the type that might not even hurt a fly. So even his ex that dated him for a while didn't see anything with this guy. It was truly that deep rooted. It was truly just hidden. And like I said, that's what makes people like him very scary. Now, after he graduated high school, he actually told his father something really scary that scared his father. He said something on the lines of, there's no point in living anymore. And this came out of nowhere to the father, because the two was really close. They was like extremely close. The son would help him with the car. The son and him would have deep conversations, and they would talk. They would even go to the bar and drink together. The father would even talk so good about his son to other people, because the two bond was so great, and he would do so much for his father. His father didn't really know what was going on deep down in his soul. So to hear that from his son, he couldn't believe it. He was shocked. And after he told that message to his father, days go by and he quit his job. He used to work at a store, just packaging things on the shelf, and he decided to become a scoutsman. A certain type of scoutsman. One of them that convinced ladies to work at the red light district. If you don't know what the red light district is, maybe you are too young. Just know, this leg and this leg, They both get open. And he wants to get these ladies to work at the red light district so they can make extra money. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm about to say something that I never heard any guy say. Usually people who walk during these red light districts, I'm talking about men, they love it. Because you got these girls in basically bikinis, bra underwear, and they just standing by the glass, just looking at you, waiting for you to pay for it. And my first time experiencing this, I didn't even know what a red light district was. 2 years ago. I know, crazy. I experienced it on accident. So I decided to go to Amsterdam, and I had a good time at Amsterdam, and I caught myself walking late at night, and I seen that it's crowded. Like extremely crowded. So I went to where the crowd was because there was a lot going on. They had bars, they had restaurants. It was just lit. And then I seen nothing but red. I walked down this strip and I'm seeing these women in the glass. I didn't know what this was until a man told me what it was that was also walking on side of me, because I asked him, I'm like, what is this? Because I personally never seen anything like this. He said, oh, this is the red light district. You just go up to the girl of your favorite and you pay. And I said, okay. And as I'm walking, looking at these women, I am completely uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm about to tell y'all a little secret. The real reason why I was uncomfortable is because I really can't do one night stand. Like the thing about it with me is I can't just meet you and then dip. Like I gotta get some type of connection out of you, and if it happened, I want it to happen again and again and again with you, even if it's friends with benefit. Then what, you, then another person, then another person. Like I like going to the same person because we have that connection. More of the story is I can't do random people. I just really can't. But I need that connection because deep down, truly, I'm like a heavy lover boy. Like that's why I'm really like that. But Takahiro, Scoutsman, convincing girls, trying to tell them how this business work, why you should do it, how you gonna get paid more. This is what he was doing. This was his new job. They could also face this law. The thing about the Scotsman job that he was doing, it's illegal in Japan. That's where this is located. I never told you. My apology. You get caught, you go to prison. He didn't get caught though, but he had a little weird way of trying to get certain girls to go to this district. Like he will almost only target depressed or emotionally lonely women that just feel down. But even these women in these depressed stage and in their emotional stage, they would turn him down because around this time they found him a little bit off. So they said, no, I will not do that job. I don't want to do that job, and get away from me, you creep. They probably didn't say it like that, but you know I'm extra. On a serious note though, he was very bad at his job, that he was scaring the women away, and the people, his colleagues, the people who work with him that's also doing this illegal job noticed it. They was getting really mad at him. Days would turn into weeks, and they would see that he's just so bad at this job. Why is this woman running away from him like that? And he was so all over the place that it was a matter of time until the police catch him. So one of his colleagues decided to do the unthinkable. As he was talking to a random lady in the street to try to convince them to join the district, his own colleague took out his phone and took a picture and posted it online and said, watch out for this scout. And this actually took off around the city that he was in, and that got him caught. He was about to face 14 months in prison, but it was suspended, so he was let free. Now he's 27 at this time that his sentence was suspended, and as you can see, the older he get, the more his behavior is starting to come out. The more strange and more weird he's starting to get, the more people starting to not like him like that. But it all changed once he started to obsessed over the internet. Twitter, to be exactly. He don't have a job. He lost his job. He unemployed. As a man at that age, you can only feel like, you know, life is pointless now. I'm not working. I have nothing going for myself. I have no set goals. Twitter though. Twitter. He was loving it a lot. Now remember I said he would approach those girls and they would be emotional, damaged almost, depressed. Well, he would find these girls on Twitter that have self-deletion thoughts, that's really depressed. Now in person, these girls could quickly notice that you're a creep. Bye, get away from me. But online, it was a different story. He was a sweetheart. That was because he made an account specifically to help people that have the thoughts of self-deletion. He wanted to help them. And he would post tweet after tweet after tweet about depression and the acts of depression. He posted one specific tweet. Here it is, word for word. It says, I want to spread the knowledge of hanging. I want to become a truly aggressive force. DM me if you're interested. You know, he just want to bait people in. He want you to come to him. He want you to feel like y'all two can relate. He also find a girl that was looking very depressed on this app, and he tweeted under her picture and he said, I want to forget everything. On another girl's post, I want to disappear. Just commenting under multiple people posts. Here's another one. He says, I really want to become the source of strength for everyone who's in pain. If you're at a dead end, please consult me. Now for those who obviously can't tell what's going on, you're the mouse. you sneak your way into someone's home, but you're just trying to survive. And you're this mouse crawling all around the house looking for food because you're trying to survive. But you're this mouse that cannot find any food. So as a mouse, you start to get maybe angry at first. You search all around the house, you search, and you can't find nothing. Another day goes by, and you're sad because you're starving yourself. So you get really sad and you get really down as this mouse. Then all of a sudden, you smell food. And on the floor, you see this food that's just laying there really nice. And you're like, thank goodness, I'm starving. Without no hesitation, you go towards this food thinking it's your friend. It's presenting itself to you. You're happy. And as you step close to this food and about to take your first bite, everything goes black. That quick. He was setting a mousetrap for the victims on Twitter. He was the food in the mousetrap. The victims was obviously the mouse. He didn't really care how they feel. He didn't really care what they was going through life. Just fall in my trap, please. That's it. That's all he wanted. But like I said, in person you probably could tell he was probably going to set a trap for you online. Oh, you could not tell. Now, one of the ways he wanted to find his victims is by scrolling through the depression hashtags. And when he see vulnerable pictures posting these quotes, looking sad, he would comment and he would say, let's DIE together. That would be his move. Now, of course, at this time, I said, of course, like you know, like it's at this time he wanted to get his own place. So he told his dad, well, father, I'm in love with this girl. You know, I would love my privacy, but his privacy is just for his plans, his evil plans that he's about to commit. His father don't know a thing though. His father like, okay, you want your own place? Let's work on that. Takehiro said, okay, yes. But now he got him a little Japanese flat and it was about $200 a month. And this place in the inside, it's not that big. It's really just enough for one person. I mean, you can have two people, but depending how you are, this place might be too small for two people for a lot of you. But for most college Japanese students, places like this is perfect. Within weeks, the neighbors noticed that this guy was weird, like very weird. First, he's not speaking. He just seemed a little bit off. You know, he would have these bad smells coming from his apartment, and it was so bad for so long that all of the neighbors would complain that smelled that was really close to his flat. Not only that, people that live in the area, not just his neighbors, noticed that when it was late, he would have black garbage bags late at night going to the garbage. It was just so strange to them because it was a routine. The trash don't come every day. Why he has this strange routine as of now. His first victim was Mizuki. As you may know, he met her online on Twitter by scrolling through those hashtags and he found her. He would text, he would relate to her and trap her by saying, come over. Once, of course, she gets comfortable enough. Now, here's the thing. It wasn't just like, come over, come to my place. It was more like, you know, she was smart. She said, I'm going to invite a third party, which is my friend, and then we could go out. And they went out. They went out, they grabbed some drink, and it was talking, laughing, they was having a good time. And that guy friend that she bought, which was smart, he didn't care. He was still gonna go through with his plan. But of course, it was impossible for him to go through with his plan because they didn't want to come to his place the first day, which was good, really good. So time would pass, him and Mizuki, they would text and text. They would get really close, so close where he would say, can I have some money? And she would give it to him. A lot of money, like $4,000. And with this money, he said, I'm going to pay you back, but he also had a plan to get another place. He wanted her to come along. That was the catch. She agreed. She wrote a note and she said to her parents, I'm going to be away for a while. Her parents didn't know where she was going, who she was with, nothing. They started a search to look for her daughter. The parents, they couldn't find her, but they did find her phone in a bathroom where the Twitter killer lives. The police didn't know at the time that this guy was involved with the disappearance of the daughter, so they was just trying to search for her and search for her still. But remember, she was invited and brought along her friend, Shogo. So Shogo knows that this strange guy was hanging out with my friend. He must have something to do with her disappearance. When she came to the place, the unknown place that he invited her to, he sedated her. I don't know if he put something in her drink, but once she got unconscious, he got a rope and put it around her neck. That was his first victim. His second victim, another female named Kahara. Now understand this, and I know that there's a lot of you ladies here that's watching this. How many of you went to a stranger's home and you just chilled at his place? Y'all probably met once, went to his home, or y'all met that same night and went to his home. Call yourself lucky, because a lot of the time, just like how you have that same mindset of probably not even thinking that nothing can happen to you, that this person might kidnap you, bring you somewhere, traffic you, keep you in his house forever, or even murder you. You probably don't even think of all of these things, just y'all two having a good time, y'all two just being really close. Just call yourself lucky, because the people who get unlucky probably think just like you, that nothing's bad is going to happen. And before you be like, Ras, this common sense to think like this when you with a stranger. Here's the thing though, I've been in strangers' home plenty of times, and I consciously think like something could go wrong, but I'm still going. I'm still taking that risk anyway, but I'm more on my feet. I'm more on my like P's and Q's. Something strange happened. At least we able to fight it out. I'm able to try to protect myself and not get caught completely off guard. I never accept water or any beverage that's open from strangers. I don't accept food really like that. I like to eat out first and then we can go to your place. And I'm not just talking about like a person that I'm dating. I'm just saying like friends, people you meet on the street. When I was in Mardi Gras, and I said this story a while back, when I was in Mardi Gras, I met this group of guys. And these group of guys was like, yeah, come to our place. We have plenty of food. We have plenty of drinks. And I was like, okay. This is before I really dived into crime and before I really became completely aware of how crazy the world is. When I went inside of this place, I did eat. Yes, I did eat. The food looked really good. I was hungry because I forgot to eat before I was out there. I was at a parade, Mardi Gras. And I told the guy who was sitting right across from me, like, I'm like, y'all could have did anything to this. And he just started laughing. Didn't even say nothing. I didn't think nothing weird or creepy at the time. But the reason why I brought up that moment is because I will never forget that moment on how I really just could have got cake. But there was cool people, so it was fine. It was fine. They had pretty girls there. The guys was cool. We became close. We hung out the rest of the day. Everything was chilled.
Yeah, we might as well go back.
I'm good. I'm ready for the round. Wait.
Where's what at? Come on, we gotta go.
But the second victim, this victim though, you know, because depressed people are, I guess, more vulnerable, more easy to convince by how this story is sounding. The second person though agreed to the deletion. They planned it out. So she decided to come to his place to plan it out, to go through with the plan. The next morning, she put on her school uniform, act like she was going to school. She wasn't. She got on the train. This was when she was last seen by any locals, and she headed off to the Twitter killer's house. She never came home that following day. The mother is now nervous, scared to worry. Police get involved. A search happens. Because she's not answering the text. She's not answering her calls. Nothing. Here's the catch though. When she got to the place, she wanted to live. She no longer wanted to go with that plan, but he didn't care. You here now and you stuck. He sedated her. He put something in her drink and she was unconscious. He did essay and then he got the rope around her neck. Second victim was gone. This is the second girl that went inside of the apartment and never came back out. Now, at the time, I don't know if any neighbors was spying on this. Not really spying, but peeping it. Because I'm sure everything happened naturally. Because remember, these girls went to this house naturally. But realistically speaking, if you're a neighbor, you really don't know who goes in and out all the time. When somebody come in a house, more than likely, you're going to be back inside, so you're not going to know if they left. Now, it's only been 5 days. And remember that friend Shogu, the first victim? He never said anything to the police. So I guess he didn't think that this Twitter creep was involved with her disappearance. He probably thought that she just ran away because the police is still actively trying to find her. Yeah. L friend, are you stupid? You didn't really think to say, at least just say, well, you know, she was into this guy. She went on a date with him, but I was there, but they went on a date. Or they were just hanging out as friends. You couldn't just mention him. No, the reason why I burst out laughing is because these videos, these cases sometimes literally piss me off. It literally do. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I just got the chills. Wow. Because I got a secret that I want to tell y'all, and it's a deep secret. I'll tell y'all at the end of this video. It's related to this, by the way. Now I low-key feel bad. I'm reading this for the first time as I'm talking about it. I know, it's crazy. YouTubers really don't ever do this. They usually know the full case and then tell it. Not me. His third victim was Shogo. Oh, I feel bad for saying that now. This is how he became the third victim. He was actually texting a friend. He was actually texting the Twitter killer. Where is she? Where she's at? And blah, 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 trying to get information. Long story short, he ended up inviting him to the place. He agreed. Probably said, yeah, she's at my place. Come over. Come see her. And he was like, okay, sure. When he came to the place, he knocked him out cold and then strangled him. He became the third victim. He did have a pattern. Everyone that he murders, scroll through their wallets, their purse, and then take the money. He got another victim from Twitter. She agreed to delete. She came over to his place. Instead of just getting straight into it, he essayed her and then tied her up in a rope, and she became the 4th victim. Now, I really don't know the depths of their conversation, but long story short, when he met this other victim, she lied to her friends. She said, this guy is an acquaintance and I'm gonna go meet this guy. She didn't want to say this guy's name to her friends, and her name was Hatami. She decided to meet the Twitter killer. Like I said, I don't know if they just had plans to hang out at his place or she was going to agree. They agreed beforehand about deletion. I don't really know how it went, but I do know they agreed to meet up. When she got to his place, he essayed her, got the rope. She became the next victim. A few days later, he ended up finding another victim, another woman. You notice something? He's moving really fast. None of it is a good thing, but it's like a couple of days later on to the next. And mind you, all of these victims still never left the house. In a certain way that we're going to get into. Now, this next victim is unknown. This is the one and only victim that remains unknown, but she didn't show up for school. Not only did she not show up for school, the same thing happened. You already know. When she came to his place, he sedated her, took her life. He did the same thing with this victim as well. She did not show up for school. He came to her place, he sedated her, he essayed her, and then he deleted her. And this made him get really confident. Really confident, because the police had no clue who it was. And they didn't have no clue really on how these girls was missing. So people around his time didn't really know that there was an active serial killer on the loose. Now let's talk about the next victim who worked at a convenience store. He was able to really have deep conversations about her depression, and they would relate and get really close. They would get that bond. Days later, he ended up inviting her to his place. She was confident enough, she was comfortable enough to come to his place, and he did the same routine like he did with all of the other past people. And then we have the last victim, Akko. And I understand and I know that it seemed like this is effortless to him. In a way, it is, only because he's just simply not close to getting caught, which led him to be really sloppy, because he never thought he would get caught. But this last victim, let's talk about it. Now, this was thanks to Aiko's older brother. When she disappeared and he couldn't find, and his family couldn't find out what happened to the sister, he was like, I need to hack into her Twitter. I do have an idea on what's her password, and he figured out her password and he hacked into her Twitter. He noticed that, I see my sister messaging this guy that she was apparently supposed to meet up, and she never comes back. He read the messages, and as you know, what they've been talking about, because she's depressed and things not been going well, he like, whoa, this dude is a creep. The brother got the police involved. The police went to his place. As soon as they went to his place, they smelled something really fishy. He had parts everywhere. That's all I'm gonna say, just parts everywhere. In cat litter, in boxes. Yes, molding, rot, just sitting there. He had 2 boxes. Each box had parts inside of it. And when I say parts, I'm talking about this. Yes, inside of the boxes and tools. This. Like, it was insane. And he just had them there. He was so messed up in the head. Now, remember I said that he would have a trash bag and he would go to the garbage disposing something? Well, that was the parts that he didn't want. And not only that, when he got arrested, he was very shy. Didn't want to show his face, and he was kind of shocked that he got arrested. Yes, shocked. Because he was wishing that he can get away with this and do it for however long. He just knew deep down he was pissed off at himself because he did a terrible job getting rid of everything. He left all of the phones in the house. Every single one of their phones was there. All of their personal items was there. He didn't really get rid of that much stuff at all. Only some things. And of course, he was put away for life. But remember, don't be scared, because these people was very vulnerable, and it was like easy to trap them for him. So even when you're going through stuff in life, make sure your head is on a swivel. Think. Now, I did say I was going to tell y'all a secret at the end of this video, but I really have to save that secret for the next video. I have to. It's going to make sense later, trust. And right now, I'm in Romania. I'm in Europe. I'm in Europe right now, so documentary coming. Get ready for that. I'm putting that together now, and I'm also going to be recording as I'm putting that documentary together, so more videos to come. Matter of fact, I'm going to have a video out in a couple of days. But with that being said, I love y'all. Take care, stay safe, and bye.
If you really wanna fuck with me, maybe you should come try and see.